I appreciate that you said that. I'm going to mark it down for myself. You said birdie? Hello. Boo.
Look at my nails.
Are they different than when I saw you earlier?
I paint, yeah.
You did them again?
Yeah, because all of them came off.
Ah, Daddy painted your nails again? You painted your nails? Whoa.
My apologies. It must have been not closed otherwise.
Josh, which way did you drive here? Oh, sorry. There is like 2 minutes before services, yes. I suppose is the sound off? Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you, Eliana. It is so great that we are able to be together to welcome Shabbat and to celebrate. As we enter Shabbat tonight, I'd love to invite you, if you have anything joyful that's happened to you in the last week that you'd like to share, to think about that so we can share it as a community.
My grandma and grandpa came.
And then they left. What else happened this week?
I went to Briar's going away party at Liberty Lagoon.
Fun, fun. I was expecting her to say that she finished first grade. Yeah. That happened too.
First day of summer! Woo!
Oh, we got some excitement for summer in the front row. Wonderful. Because you finished school also, Isaac? Isaac? Yeah. Anybody else? Something great that's happened in the last week? You had a birthday.
3/4 of a century.
3/4 of a century. Happy birthday, Richard. Other joyful things?
We have a dear guest. We have Robin McCullough Bade, Reverend Robin McCullough Bade, who for many years was the director of the Interfaith Federation here in Baton Rouge.
Welcome, welcome. Wonderful. It's a joy to have you and for you to see our beautiful new space. Oh, we got some excitement.
I have a new grandson. Yes.
We are officially welcoming him into the covenant on Sunday.
Yes, we are.
Very exciting. There's a lot of joy in this room. Other thing.
Parents are here to visit.
Wonderful parents visiting. Welcome, parents.
My daughter Wendy had a very, very successful hip replacement, and she is doing so great. She said, "My God, the pain is so much better than when I was waiting for two years to happen." But she's just doing great, and we're so thrilled and relieved. And my dear friend Sandy just got fabulous news that her cancer has not recurred, and that we're just, oh God, we're just so thrilled.
Such wonderful news. We have celebrations, we have school years ending, we have visitors, we have the joy of health being restored. Any other joyful things we want to share as we enter Shabbat tonight? It does sure look pretty out there. It's a beautiful view that we have. Wouldn't that be funny if we would have put a fan in? Next Shabbat, I'll have a smoke machine. No, just kidding. Any other joyful things we want to bring to our community? Wonderful. There's so much for us to celebrate. So many things happening in the lives of everyone in our community. And just the joy of getting to be together and celebrate Shabbat. So let us welcome Shabbat as we pray together, as we sing together, as we celebrate. Everything you need this evening will be on the screen. But if you'd like to follow along in the prayer book, there are prayer books underneath the seats in which you are sitting. In some places, I'll call out page numbers. In other places, you will see them on the screens. So you choose your Shabbat adventure as we join together. Let us begin by not having the technology work right from the beginning. Look at that. Does it work now? I think so. Let us enter Shabbat by lighting our Shabbat candles. It's my honor to invite Susan Lipsy to light our Shabbat candles for us tonight. We are on page 121 in our prayer books.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher
Thank you so much. Let us continue on page 124 as we read together. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. Let us now welcome the Shabbat presence, the Sabbath bride, with the words of Lecha Dodi, page 138. When we get to the final verse, if you are comfortable doing so, I will invite you to rise, to face the door, so we can metaphorically greet Shabbat to our community. Page 138. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Hishmianu el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shemu tiferet ve'litila Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor habracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'maksheva techila Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva orech kumi uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai, alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Panei Shabbat nekabela. If you would like to rise and greet Shabbat by facing the door, I invite you to do so. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha uvesohola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Before you take your seats, I caught some of you in mid-squat, but take a moment, greet the people around you with a Shabbat Shalom. Maybe not the person you arrived with, maybe not the person you're having dinner with afterwards, but take a moment to greet someone. Once you've had a moment to greet a few people, I invite you to head back to your seats. Let us continue this theme of welcoming as we welcome the ministering angels of Shabbat with the words of Shalom Aleichem on page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As we enter our Chatzi Kaddish, our transitional moment of our evening prayers, I invite you to take a deep breath. As you inhale, hold something either wonderful that's happened in your own life, or maybe one of the things that was shared at the beginning of services in the lives of those with us tonight. And as you exhale, try to exhale your worries away. Try not to think about the items on your to-do list that you haven't gotten to. Try not to think about whatever is coming next during this holiday weekend. Try not to think about the traffic we're experiencing in Baton Rouge. Try to just let all your thoughts and worries melt away as you bring yourself to these moments of prayer. As we continue on page 144. Yitgadal v'kadash Shemei Rabbah Ve'alma divrach hirotei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'vyomechon U'v'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael Bagala, Bagala Uvizman Kariv Ve'imeru Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam Olam Me'olmaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitroman V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei Dekudesha Barichu Le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma ve'imeru. As we turn the page, I invite you to please rise. be seated. We read together page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Sivaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. It is said that the Jewish people are in a covenantal relationship with God. Now, if we surveyed the room and I asked you to describe your belief in God in this exact moment, I'm guessing we would have a lot of variety of responses. That's one of the joys. We can pray together in community, but also have different thoughts about what we are praying to in that moment. And what does it mean to be in a covenantal relationship? It means that sometimes we know God is right there with us. Sometimes we might feel God more distant. Just like we are in covenantal relationships with people, sometimes with the people that we love, we don't necessarily like what's happening in a certain moment with them. And it is the same with God. Where the world is right now, many of us might be questioning so many things, but we still have the ability to thank God for allowing us to be in this relationship. A relationship, hopefully, at most moments, full of love. So together, let us read page 150. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. As we turn the page and come upon the words of Shema declaring God one, I invite you to rise if you wish. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. We continue chanting together, page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'kol lavavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'leftecha v'derech u'shokbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu le'totafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzo beitecha Uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'hitem kiddoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. We read responsively page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, o seifele, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. I want you to think for a moment of a place where you have felt peace. For some of you, it might be in this space. For some of you, it might be in your homes. In a moment, I'll give you an opportunity, if anybody wants to share a place where you have truly felt peace. One moment where I truly felt peace, I was 16 years old, and it was the first time I ever had the opportunity to travel to Israel. Now, you would think I would say that it was at the Kotel or at some profound ritual site for Judaism, but it wasn't. The place that I always remember on that first trip to Israel as a teenager, feeling at true peace, happened to be in the Negev desert. I was with my teen group who was touring around, and we were hiking in the Negev desert, and we came to a sand dune. And my group decided that we were all going to be at the base of that sand dune and together link arms and run up the sand dune together. And we did it. We ran up the sand dune, and when we got to the top, we all just sat there. On top, soft sand, could see the grains. We were linked arms as one community, a group of teenagers traveling through Israel. And it was in that moment, I kind of had this feeling that our ancestors walked in the same space I had been walking as we had been hiking through the desert. And that I, at that moment, as a 16-year-old, was getting that opportunity to walk. And so my peaceful moment that I think of so often is not my first visit to the Kotel, but it's the first time I thought about how we are linked from generation to generation, walking the same path. Whether it is on a sand dune in the Negev desert, thinking about our ancestors traveling that path, or whether it is us here in Baton Rouge. But those are the moments that really help me find true peace. Curious if anybody has a place that they're thinking of that made them feel peaceful.
Lake Louise, north of Banff in Canada.
Beautiful. Might be growing my list of places I need to visit from this conversation as well.
In the Colorado Rocky Mountains in an aspen grove.
Anytime I'm in the swimming pool, I just feel peace.
Sitting on the beach in a lounge chair and feeling the sun and hearing the rush of the waves.
I was at a jumpy place and I was lonely, and people asked me if they wanted to play with me and right now.
Any other moments we've felt peace?
On top of Mount St. Helens several years ago, I climbed it, and when I was sitting up there by myself, I could hear my heart beating and the air, and it was just an incredible experience.
It's not always a physical place, it's who you're with, like with your family, or especially the pups.
Wonderful. Many of us have experienced peace in nature. We've experienced peace in places that are special to us or our families. We've experienced peace because of the people we are with. In our evening prayers, we are reminded to find that shelter of peace, that Sukkot Shalom. So I invite you to think of whatever your peaceful place is. Pull that picture up in your mind as we continue reading together, page 161. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162, let us sing the words reminding us how important it is to keep Shabbat. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, Oti leolam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. As we turn the page to page 164 and following, we enter our Amidah, our central prayers of our evening service, and I invite you to please rise. Adonai sefatai tifta ufiya kitekilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Mayin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Tavra V'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim B'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emnato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'Geburot, Umidom Melech Meimid, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emanat Alachayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol, Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim B'Kol Yom Hallelujah Selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. I invite you to continue now with your own prayers, either the words you find in the prayer book from pages 172 to 180, or the words you find in your own hearts this evening. And I invite you to be seated whenever you wish. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We are in a moment on our calendar where we are counting from Passover to Shavuot, counting from the exodus of Egypt to receiving Torah at Mount Sinai. It is a ritual you do in the evening. It is simply reciting a blessing and saying what the count is for that day. The interesting thing about this ritual is you do it every single day, and if you forget a day, that's okay. But when you pick it back up, you're supposed to pick it back up without the blessing. So it adds even more intentionality to it. So it is a ritual practice as much as it is a practice in mindfulness. We are on page 570, so we can count the Omer. And I invite you, if you are comfortable, reading this blessing together with me in Hebrew and English, and then together we will count the next night of the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us with mitzvot and commands us concerning the counting of the Omer. Today is the 32nd day, which is 4 weeks and 4 days of the Omer. We now turn our prayers to those in need of healing of body, healing of spirit, and healing of mind. This evening, our community thinks of Joy Lewis, Minna Bat Yentl, Mordechai Ben Dina, Anna Carlo, Judy Roheim, Frida Tamaro Bat Liba Bela, Menucha Pesa Bat Cherny Umoshe, Gretchen Haynes, Ruby Smolinski, Jennifer Casson, Storm Matthews, Terry Stern, Judith Von Brentnell, Kaylee Barron, David Berman, Harvey Schwartzberg, Maxine Cohn, David Leake, Barbara Stockner, Janet Gerwich, Danielle Riker, Laura Swire, Susan Wasserman, Nevin Rose, Cindy DeMarco, Sheldon Rawson, James Stockner, Vicki Jenkins, Steve Ginsberg, Yitzchak Dov Ben Chana, Devora Bat Yaakov Chaim Vabela, Rena Bander, Miriam Benzman, Arlette Goldstein, and Paula Villanueva. If there are others you are thinking of in need of healing, if you'd like to share their names aloud, I invite you to do so. For those names we heard aloud, those whom we hold in our hearts, and those in need of healing in Israel, we offer these prayers of healing, page 371. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. This school year has flown by. It feels like just yesterday, my family was arriving in Baton Rouge and Eliana over there was beginning kindergarten. But in reality, this past Tuesday, Josh and I joined Eliana in her first grade classroom for her last day. How has the time moved so quickly? I don't know about you, but I need it to slow down. But in reality, I'm not very good at slowing down. I would much rather be busy and move from activity to activity without ever taking a break. I try to use the gift of Shabbat each week, which reminds us to hit the pause button, but I'm much better at giving this advice than taking it. Moving through life quickly, we all know, is not a new invention. For millennia, people have said, don't blink or you'll miss it, in reference to their children growing up. Or people have asked the question, where has the time gone? Even in our Torah portion this week, God knows the importance of reminding the people to take a break. God instructs Moses to tell the Israelites that in every 7th year, the land shall observe a Sabbath of complete rest. Fields should not be sown and vines should not be pruned. This is called a Shemitah year, the next of which will occur, Jeopardy question, which will never be on Jeopardy. Anybody know? Good guess, Ralph. Absolutely. 57 something. That was a great guess. 57, 80. Want to just throw a number out there, anyone? A little higher. 9. Somebody said it. 5789, which for most of us will be easier to think of in 2028. Rabbi Abraham Isaac Kook, one of the giants of modern Jewish mystical thought, and the first Ashkenazi chief rabbi of the land of Israel in the 20th century, writes in his book Shabbat Haaretz, life can only be perfected through the affording of a breathing space from the bustle of everyday life. The individual shakes himself free from ordinary weekday life at short and regular intervals on every Sabbath. What the Sabbath achieves regarding the individual, the Shemitah achieves with regard to the nation as a whole. A year of solemn rest is essential for both the nation and the land, a year of peace and quiet, without oppressor and tyrant. It is a year of equality and rest in which the soul reaches out towards divine justice, towards God who sustains the living creatures with loving kindness. For us, to fully understand Shemitah and its deepest implications, we have to realize that this is not just a practice about sustainable farming and land management. it also, I think, has immense meaning for us, most of whom I'm going to guess aren't farmers today who till our own soil. Shemitah is a call to set apart time and foster care, compassion, and even partnership between all those who share the earth. When we dig deeper into the meaning of a Shemitah year, we understand that this is about healthy culture and healthy relationships. In our world, we can uphold the Shemitah by continually cultivating relationships based in respect, trust, compassion, and honor. I don't know, but something miraculous happens when we stop. What some of you might not know about me is that I entered my undergraduate educational journey as a fine arts major. I spent countless hours in the art studio creating. In those hours, I quickly learned that if I needed a break and did not take it, the piece I was creating suffered. But if I walked away from something, when I returned, the final product always benefited. Even though I quickly learned this lesson, reminding myself to take a break and walk away was always a difficult task. And sadly, I am no different today. So what keeps us from stopping? One thing I think is that it is because we're terrified of resting. We are afraid of the imaginative, terrible things we will feel in the quiet. We fear that when we stop, even for just a moment, the sheer enormity of our lives could possibly overwhelm us. When I take a vacation, I can't help but waste time thinking about all the work piling up. What I need to learn to tell myself, though, is it's okay, it can always wait. We can learn, I think, from the greatest gymnast of all times, as she's being called, Simone Biles. Mid-air on her vault in the team all-around competition in the Tokyo Olympic Games, she realized that she had to make a choice between continuing to go, 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 or stopping and paying attention to her health. What a role model. Although she had worked her entire life to make it to that moment, she was able to prioritize her mental health over the world's pressures. Unfortunately, the backlash she received from the public at first is one reminder why we tend to keep moving, pushing ourselves to breaking points without stopping. But she was able to put aside the comments and do what she thought was best for herself in that moment. She kind of took a Shemitah. And look at her today, back at the top of her game, preparing for the summer's Olympic Games in Paris. So this Shabbat, as we begin to enter the summer season, let's give each other permission to take a break and to slow down, because we could all benefit from a true Sabbath rest. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to turn back to our prayer books now. I invite you to turn to page 586, where we find the beginning of our concluding prayers. Eliana, you want to help me? Anybody else? As Eliana comes up here and she helps me open the ark. Hi, friend. It's okay that I just talked about you a whole bunch. As we make our way to page 586, I invite you to please rise. We join together. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech kol haaretz bayom hahu yihya Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You may be seated. As our prayers draw to a close this Shabbat evening, we turn our thoughts to our loved ones who are no more. Tonight, we remember one taken from us recently, Carol Kane. To her name, we add the names of 3 taken from us in the past 30 days, James Coker, Chuck Schwing, and Harry Rubenstein Saxe. To their names, we add the names of those who passed away during the past year, Alvin Mykoff, John Carlson, Ruth Ann Miller, John Roheim, Barry Burton, Shirley Judge, Betty Simmons, Lee Kaplan, Joanne Bender, Leonard Knackman, Rowan Hausman, Maureen Corcoran, Lucy Silva, Larry Zachem, Richard Price Marcus, Eddie Goldman, Eleanor McKee, Faye Ruth, Joseph Schieber, and Elaine Rose Kaplan. We also think of those who died at this season in years past and whose family members are observing the Yortzeit anniversary of death on this Shabbat. Judah Bowman, Ronnie Shenevert, Karen Cohn, Lois Daniels, Natalie Feingold, Max Gamelski, Bertie Berenson Haspel, Joseph Haspel Jr., Arthur Kaufman, Oscar Rosen, Beatrice Rubin, Sarah Saltz, Lena Samuels, Sandra Schudmack, and Rhoda Sillins. If there are others you are remembering this evening, if you'd like to share their names aloud, I invite you to do so. For those names we heard aloud, those whom we hold in our hearts, those who's lost their lives to war in Israel, we join together on page 598 to offer these prayers of Mourner's Kaddish, and I invite you to rise if you wish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon uv'yomachon uv'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach leolam olamei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha barichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. O say shalom b'mroma, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May all their memories be for a blessing, as together we say, Amen. You may be seated as I invite Mitch, representing our board, to welcome you and share some brief announcements. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us tonight for services. We welcome everyone. Tomorrow morning, there will be Torah study in the Lifelong Learning Center and on Zoom at 9:30. Minyan in the library at 10 o'clock a.m. Services in the sanctuary at 10:30. Tomorrow night, there will be a Havdalah service on Zoom hosted by the Saxey family at 6 p.m. Celebrate with our community as Eleanor Cohen is called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah during her Shabbat service on Friday, May 31st, and on Saturday, June 1st. We are excited to welcome Cantor Joel Coleman to help us lead us in prayer during Saturday morning, June 1st. Help us welcome Rabbinic intern Ora Jacobson during Friday night Shabbat services on June 7th. Rabbinic interim Jacobson will be spending 6 weeks with our community this summer to learn and to teach. For more details about these events and more, please go to our website or refer to the weekly announcements. Shabbat Shalom and have a safe Memorial Day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Lots of wonderful Shabbat services coming up. Eleanor, I won't embarrass you too much, but join us next weekend as we call Eleanor to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. And then the following week, we'll be welcoming an HUC rabbinic student to join us. So lots of exciting things as we enter the summer and we continue to celebrate together. Let us close out our service tonight by singing an oldie but one of my favorite goodies on page 625. We will join together and then we will join together in Kiddush and Motzi. So please join me in Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Liet Nasa, B'chef Sakol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Livado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Hoveh, Ve'hu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam, Ve'hu Echad, Ve'ein Sheni, Leham Shilo Lehachbira Adon Olam, Beli Reshit, Beli Tachlit, Velo Ha'oz Ve'hamisra Adon Olam, Ve'hu Eli, Ve'chai Goali, Ve'tzor Chevli Be'et Sarah Adon Olam, Ve'hu Nisi, Umanos Li, Menat Kosi Beyom Ekra Adon Oyam, Beyado Afkid Ruchi, Be'et Ishan Ve'ayira Adon Olam, Ve'im Ruchi, Gaviati, Adonai Li Velo Ira Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol. Yitzir nivra. Liet nasa. Ochefsa kol. Azai melech shemo nikra Adon Olam. We turn now to page 123 as I invite Lori and Dale to come up and pick up our Kiddush cup and lead us this evening in Kiddush. I'm going to invite everyone, if you are comfortable doing so, to please rise. It's also on a piece of paper if you need it on there.
Join in if you like.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzah banu, v'shabbat kodsho, hava u'ratzon, yidkei lanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah, Lirikrai Kodesh, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu Bacharta, Veotanu Kidashta, Mikol Hamim, Veshabat Kodshecha, Ve'ahava Uratzon, Hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. Is it the good stuff? Ah. I'm going to invite you to uncover our challah as well. Beautiful. Sure. Or the plate or the, yeah. Let us join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Please enjoy some challah, and everybody else can come up and enjoy some as well. You get first, Paul. Thank you so much. And you're hired because you led the prayer beautifully. Absolutely. Thank you for